Everyone talks about success habits, morning routines, cold showers, meditation apps. Almost nobody mentions the thing that separates Warren Buffett from his peers, the thing Bill Gates does for weeks at a time, the thing that Elon Musk credits for learning rocket science. What is it? Reading, not reading summaries, not scrolling headlines, actual books, full pages, deep focus. And here's what the research shows. 6 minutes of reading reduces your stress by 68%. Your heart rate drops, your muscles relax, your cortisol plummets, faster than music, faster than walking, faster than almost anything else you can do. So why don't high achievers talk about it more? Because they're too busy doing it. While everyone else optimizes their morning smoothie, they're 500 pages deep. Let's talk about what really happens when you read. A&M University in 2024 and neuropsychological research from Mindlab International at the University of Sussex, conducted by Dr. David Lewis in 2009. Now back to the information. Tense their muscles. Measure everything. Then give them different relaxation methods. Music, tea, coffee, a walk, a book. 6 minutes later, check the numbers. Music dropped stress by 61%. Walking hit 42%. Reading, 68%, 6 minutes. Not an hour, not a weekend retreat. 6 minutes with a book, and your stress drops by more than 2/3. Lewis explains it this way. Losing yourself in a book isn't just distraction, it's active engagement of imagination. The words on the page stimulate creativity. You enter an altered state of consciousness. Your heart rate slows, muscle tension eases, the stress response shuts down. This isn't theory, this is measured physiology, heart rate monitors, muscle tension sensors, real data from real bodies under real stress. Now jump forward to 2024. Researchers published in the American Journal of Health Behavior, study author Liu and team. They're looking at work stress specifically. Office workers, deadlines, pressure, performance anxiety. They measure emotional state before and after reading. The results match Sussex. Reading improves emotional state, alleviates work stress. But here's what's new. They find reading works faster than traditional relaxation methods. The effect compounds over time. Daily reading doesn't just reduce today's stress, it builds resilience against tomorrow's. The mechanism? Cortisol, your body's stress hormone. And when you're stressed, your adrenal glands pump cortisol. When your heart rate spikes, blood pressure rises, digestion slows, sleep fragments, chronic cortisol elevation, that's when real damage starts. Cardiovascular disease, stroke, immune suppression. A 2024 study at Bharati Vidyapith Medical College analyzed cortisol and immune function from April to September. The data showed elevated cortisol correlates with reduced immune response, higher total leukocyte count, lower lymphocyte percentage. Your stress hormone literally suppresses your immune system. Cardiologist at Henry Ford Health, she published findings in February 2025. Quote, stress can lead to spikes in blood pressure. Persistently elevated blood pressure puts you at much greater risk for cardiovascular disease and stroke. That's why stress management is important for keeping your heart healthy. End quote. Reading lowers heart rate. Reading decreases cortisol. Reading makes your heart work less hard. Patel confirms what Lewis found 16 years earlier. Reading isn't entertainment, it's intervention. A 2023 meta-analysis published in Psychoneuroendocrinology looked at 58 studies, 3,508 participants, 6 databases searched. The question, do stress management interventions actually change cortisol levels? The answer, yes. Medium positive effect size. Stress management works, and reading is one of the fastest methods. Quote, read 500 pages like this every day. That's how knowledge works. It builds up like compound interest. All of you can do it, but I guarantee not many of you will do it. End quote. Buffett's company, Berkshire Hathaway, 19.0% annual growth in book value since 1965. The S&P 500, 9.7%. If you invested $1,000 in the S&P in 1965, you'd have $150,000 today. That same thousand in Berkshire, $12 million. Buffett attributes this directly to reading. Not meetings, not networking, reading. And test my understanding, end quote. Gates takes it further. He schedules think weeks, full weeks, where he does nothing but read. No meetings, no calls, no interruptions. Just books and thinking time. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, largest charitable organization in the world. It started from an article, 1998, New York Times. Nicholas Kristof wrote about 3 million kids dying from diarrhea. Bill and Melinda read it. They launched the foundation. Sometimes reading changes millions of lives. He studied aerospace engineering texts before launching SpaceX. Reading gave him the knowledge base to disrupt 2 industries, electric cars and space travel. I'm looking forward to shifting more of my media diet towards reading books, end quote. Oprah Winfrey, she calls reading, quote, her personal path to freedom. End quote. Books gave her, quote, the power to see possibilities beyond what was allowed at the time. End quote. She's run Oprah's book club since 1996. Reading shaped her worldview. Her success, her impact, Barack Obama. Described as the president most influenced by reading and writing since Abraham Lincoln. He's seen visiting bookstores, publishing summer reading lists, writing in his own books about how reading shaped his life. 88% spend at least 30 minutes every day on reading and self-education. 63% listen to audiobooks during commutes. 85% read 2 or more self-improvement books per month. 86% have a passion for learning new things. Compare that to lower income groups. Annual income $35,000 or less. Liquid net worth $5,000 or less. They read primarily for entertainment, novels, tabloids, magazines, not for education, not for self-improvement. The correlation is stark. Wealthy people read to learn, poor people read to pass time. Published April 2024. She studies mindful reading. Quote, reading is a quiet pursuit that can be a more adaptive coping strategy than some other hobbies we engage in. End quote. She distinguishes between regular reading and mindful reading. Regular reading? You're trying to finish the book, acquire knowledge, get to a destination. Mindful reading? You focus on the act of reading itself. No destination, no goal. Just awareness of what you're reading in that moment. Being fully present. It's advanced meditation. It requires structure. Start with mindful breathing. Develop those skills first, then add reading. The goal is consciousness, understanding what you're reading and how you're reading. Slow down. Remove distractions. Add a non-judgmental attitude. Deep, meaningful understanding. Dr. Junhyung Paul Kim, Associate Professor at Texas A&M School of Public Health. September 2024, Journal of Cognitive Enhancement. His team analyzed 5,932 people, age 50 and older. All had mild cognitive impairment in 2012. They followed them until 2020, 8 years. The question, does reading slow cognitive decline? The answer changed everything. Participants who engaged in high levels of reading word games and hobbies showed better memory, better working memory, better attention, better processing speed than those who didn't. The high-level participation group consistently exhibited higher cognitive function throughout the study period. Kim says, quote, today, nearly 6 million people in the United States have dementia, and this number is projected to grow to about 14 million by 2060, with minority populations affected the most, end quote. It works across all education levels, lower education, middle education, higher education. Reading protects them all. The mechanism, cognitive reserve. Mental activity builds capacity. It's like compound interest for your brain. Every page read adds to the reserve. That reserve protects you when aging starts to erode function. The dorsolateral prefrontal cortex gets activated. Neural connections strengthen. The brain maintains plasticity longer. Italy, 668 adults over 70, cross-sectional study. Regular reading strongly associated with better cognitive performance. Physical activity controlled for. Social activity controlled for. Educational level controlled for. Reading still wins. Japan, randomized control trial. Learning therapy, reading aloud plus arithmetic. The intervention improved cognitive performance in patients with dementia. It also worked for normal-aged people in community settings. The effect is consistent across cultures, across education levels, across study designs. The researchers analyzed answers to 7 questions about cognitive activities. Reading, game playing, hobbies. High engagement equals better outcomes, better memory, better attention, better speed. The implications are massive. 6 million Americans have dementia now, 14 million by 2060. If reading slows progression, if it delays onset by even 1 or 2 years, the societal cost savings would be billions. The human suffering prevented would be incalculable. If you're reading to reduce stress, don't pick a thriller that spikes your heart rate. Don't pick news that triggers anxiety. Pick something engrossing but calm. Fiction that transports you. Nonfiction that educates without alarming. Dr. Lewis from Sussex said it best. Quote, it really doesn't matter what book you read by losing yourself in a thoroughly engrossing book. You can escape from the worries and stresses of the everyday world and spend a while exploring the domain of the author's imagination. End quote. The keyword, engrossing. Not stressful, not anxiety-inducing. Engrossing. Quote, giving your academic or high-stress mindset a rest allows your brain to simmer in what you've learned or experienced. End quote. Ball reads all day for work. Journal literature. Provider questions. Intensive analysis. High mental energy, but she takes light reading breaks during her workday. Quote, if I go from one search to another and another, I get less efficient and I lose my focus, end quote. Even professional researchers need reading breaks. It's not laziness, it's brain optimization. Reading before bed lowers both. Your body shifts into parasympathetic mode. Rest and digest, the opposite of fight or flight. Sleep quality improves. Next day cognitive function improves. The cycle reinforces itself. It's usually combined with other therapies, so isolating its effectiveness is hard. But the benefits include reduced anxiety, improved mood, better coping strategies, better understanding of self and others. A 2022 study titled Benefits of Positive Psychology, based story reading on adolescent mental health and well-being, gave high school students 8 stories over 4 weeks. Positive psychology themes: gratitude, compassion, character strengths, mindfulness, empathy, forgiveness, responsibility, modesty, perseverance, justice. Results? Students adjusted behavior to fit positive themes. Mindfulness improved, optimism improved, happiness improved, overall positive emotions increased, depression decreased, anxiety decreased, pessimism decreased, negative emotions dropped. This is documented behavior change from reading. A 2024 study in PLOS1 analyzed 4 reading styles. 2,915 college students in Shanghai, March through April. 4 universities: Shanghai University of Political Science and Law, Shanghai University of Physical Education, East China Normal University, Shanghai University. They used self-assessment anxiety scale and self-assessment depression scale. The finding: reading works related to positive psychology produces multiple psychological benefits: positive emotional impact, enhanced psychological well-being, increased satisfaction. Readers cope better with daily stresses and challenges. They utilize their strengths more. They enhance sense of self-identity. They strengthen social support networks. Reading builds psychological resilience, the ability to return to normal after stress. Now contrast this with what most people do. Scroll social media, watch short-form video, check news constantly. These activities spike cortisol, they fragment attention, they reduce ability to focus. A 2023 study found reading promotes empathy and self-awareness, literary fiction especially. As readers get engrossed in a storyline, they empathize with characters, they learn motivations and behavior patterns. This increases understanding of human behavior. The knowledge transfers outside the novel. When readers select novels set in other cultures, they develop awareness of diverse populations and perspectives. Scrolling? You don't get that. You get dopamine hits, anxiety spikes, comparison, envy, outrage, not learning, not growth, not stress reduction. Ultimate stress remedy. Dr. Josie Billington notes, quote, "Whilst the cumulative societal benefits of reading have been widely acknowledged, it's important also to recognize the gains to be had from reading on our personal health and well-being." End quote. Yale University School of Public Health, study published in Social Science and Medicine. Adults who read books more than 3.5 hours per week were 23% less likely to die over 12 years of follow-up, compared to those who didn't read books. The researchers couldn't pinpoint exact mechanisms. They pointed to previous studies showing reading increases connectivity between brain cells, lower risk of neurodegenerative diseases, longer lifespan. Reading might actually extend your life. UK adults aged 50 and older, data collected before pandemic, March 2019 to February 2020. During first year of pandemic, March 2020 to February 2021. During second year, March 2021 to February 2022. Linear mixed effects model comparing cognition across 3 periods. Result: significant worsening of cognition in older adults, associated with changes in known dementia risk factors. Depression increased, exercise regularity decreased, alcohol use increased, all known risk factors for dementia. The sustained decline in cognition highlighted need for public health interventions. The researchers noted clear patterns between exercise, alcohol, depression, loneliness, and cognitive decline during pandemic. Direct causality can't be assumed, but the associations are clear. Interventions targeting these behaviors could benefit cognition. Ideas, knowledge, would the cognitive decline have been as severe? Probably not. This is what separates high achievers from everyone else. Not talent, not luck. Discipline. Warren Buffett doesn't read when he feels like it. He reads 5 to 6 hours every single day. Bill Gates doesn't read 50 books a year by accident. He schedules it, blocks time, protects it. Elon Musk didn't learn rocket science in a weekend. He read for 10 hours a day as a child. He built the foundation early. Mark Zuckerberg didn't casually decide to read every 2 weeks. He made it public. He invited accountability. He finished what he started. Experimentation. Phil Knight, founder of Nike, reveres his library so much you have to take off your shoes and bow. Oprah credits books with much of her success. Quote, "Books were my pass to personal freedom." End quote. She shares her reading habit with the world through her book club. Jack Dorsey is a serial wanderer. LinkedIn CEO Jeff Weiner schedules 2 hours of thinking time per day. Brian Scudamore, founder of $250 million O2E brands, spends 10 hours a week just thinking. Reid Hoffman calls Peter Thiel, Max Levchin, or Elon Musk when he needs help thinking through an idea. These aren't people sitting idle, they're deliberately creating space for thought. And reading is the primary input method. Those who don't spend at least 5 to 10 hours a week learning online will obsolete themselves with technology. The long-term effects of not learning are as insidious as long-term effects of not having a healthy lifestyle. We have minimum recommended dosages of vitamins, steps per day, aerobic exercise for physical health. We should be equally rigorous about minimum doses of deliberate learning for economic health, for cognitive health. For mental health, reading is the foundation. Elon Musk credits science fiction with shaping how he thinks about the future. Bill Gates publishes reading lists spanning climate science to political history. Reading outside your field introduces fresh mental models, helps leaders anticipate challenges, understand people better, connect dots others miss. He studied reading routines of high performers. 7 key habits separate casual readers from billionaire readers. 1. They block reading into daily routine without exception. Warren Buffett, 5 to 6 hours daily. Bill Gates, full think weeks. Their schedules are built around time to think. Reading fuels it. 2. They read with specific outcome in mind. Elon Musk studied aerospace engineering books before SpaceX. Oprah turned to spiritual texts for life's toughest chapters. Their shelves are full of books that offer answers, frameworks, and clarity. 3. They treat reading as active process. Warren Buffett marks up books, scribbles notes in margins, writes down key takeaways, returns to critical insights when making decisions or reflecting. 4. They read across disciplines, not just their industry. Fresh perspectives, unlikely connections, big ideas from unexpected places. You're not just reading alone, you're part of a community. The benefits compound. They help manage cortisol during high stress. Combine herbs, stable blood sugar exercise, and reading. You've built a comprehensive stress management system. Not one intervention, a stack. Each element reinforces the others. Light stretching, if high intensity isn't your thing. A study found individuals who ran on treadmill 30 minutes before stress test showed significant cortisol reduction compared to those who didn't exercise. Exercise and reading together, multiplicative effect. One primes your body, one primes your mind. Together they create optimal conditions for stress management and cognitive performance. Expressive writing about personal experiences, processing emotions, reducing intensity of stress response, writing about stress, then reading about solutions. The combination is powerful. You externalize the problem, you internalize the answer. Your brain processes both, integrates both, develops new patterns. Everything since has built on that. 2024 American Journal of Health Behavior confirmed it works for work stress. 2024 Journal of Cognitive Enhancement showed it slows cognitive decline. 2024 studies on cortisol showed the mechanism. 2025 cardiologist studies confirmed cardiovascular benefits. 14-year longitudinal studies proved long-term cognitive protection. The evidence isn't just strong, it's overwhelming. Reading works for stress, for cognition, for longevity, for performance. 28 hours per month, 336 hours per year, that's 14 days. 2 full weeks of learning advantage over someone who doesn't read every single year. Do that for 10 years, 140 days of advantage. 20 years, 280 days. Almost an entire year of learning compressed into focused daily practice. That's not a small edge, that's transformational. The CDC estimated 6.7 million adults living with dementia in 2022. They expect 14 million by 2060, almost double. Reading might be the single most effective preventive intervention available. It's free, it's accessible, it requires no prescription, no insurance, no special equipment, just a book, a quiet space, and time. The barrier isn't access, it's discipline. It's choosing reading over scrolling, over TV, over social media, over anything easier but less valuable. The challenge is making it priority, protecting the time, saying no to other things. This is where most people fail. They know reading is good, they intend to read, but intention doesn't equal action. Buffett acts, Gates acts, Musk acts, Zuckerberg acts, Oprah acts. They don't wait for motivation. They schedule it. They honor it. They defend it. They raised tension levels through tests, then gave different stress relief methods. Reading reduced tension by 68%, music by 61%, walking by 42%, video games by 21%. The hierarchy is clear. Reading wins. It's not close. Cognitive neuropsychologist David Lewis summarizes it perfectly. Quote, "Losing yourself in a book is the ultimate relaxation." End quote. Not an escape from reality, a reset. Your mind engages, your imagination activates, your creativity stimulates. You enter altered state of consciousness. Stress dissolves. The effect is measurable, reproducible, reliable. Academic year, for love of reading study title. Recreational reading reduces psychological distress in college students. Autonomous motivation is the key. When people read because they want to, not because they have to, the benefits maximize. Intrinsic motivation drives engagement. Engagement drives stress reduction. Stress reduction improves well-being. Well-being improves performance. Performance creates success. Success reinforces motivation. The cycle perpetuates. It's not an expense. It's an investment. The highest return investment available, better than stocks, better than real estate, better than any financial instrument, because it compounds inside you. It builds capacity that generates returns forever. Processing thoughts and feelings through narrative, developing new perspectives, building coping skills, reducing symptoms. The practice works best combined with other therapies, but standalone it still shows benefits. Reduced anxiety, improved mood, better emotional regulation, enhanced self-awareness, greater empathy, stronger relationships. These aren't trivial outcomes, they're life-changing, and they come from reading, from engaging with ideas, with stories, with knowledge. Individuals cope better with daily stresses. They utilize strengths more effectively. Self-identity strengthens. Social support networks expand. Psychological resilience builds. Capacity to return to normal after adversity. These are precisely the qualities that separate high achievers from everyone else. Resilience, self-awareness, emotional regulation, stress management, social connection. Reading develops them all simultaneously. The mechanism is multifaceted. Physical, heart rate decreases, muscle tension eases. Neurological, prefrontal cortex activates imagination, engages altered consciousness. States emerge. Hormonal, cortisol drops, stress response dampens. Cognitive, knowledge accumulates, understanding deepens thinking, clarifies. Emotional, anxiety reduces mood, elevates resilience, strengthens. Social, empathy increases perspective, broadens connection, deepens. All from reading, all from something you can start right now, today, this moment. Oprah with her book clubs, Obama with his voracious appetite. They're not special, they're disciplined. They chose reading when everyone else chose distraction. They protected the habit when everyone else abandoned it. They reaped the compound returns when everyone else wondered why they couldn't focus. Journal of Cognitive Enhancement, 2024. International Psychogeriatrics, 14-year study. Texas A&M, 5,932 participants. Yale Lifespan Study. Taiwan Cognitive Protection. Italy Cross-Sectional. Japan Intervention. PLOS1 Shanghai Students. Lancet COVID Study. Henry Ford Cardiovascular. Baylor Mindful Reading. Multi-care workplace applications. Every angle, every population, every measure. The same conclusion: reading reduces stress, reading protects cognition, reading enhances performance, reading extends life. The quiet confidence that comes from deep learning, the calm that settles when your mind is trained to focus. These aren't measurable in cortisol or heart rate, but they're real, they're valuable. They're the reason high achievers read even when studies didn't exist to validate it. Marcus Aurelius wrote Meditations, private journal, never intended for publication. He processed stress through writing and reading. Stoic philosophy. How to live well, how to lead well, how to think well. Modern neuroscience validates ancient practice. Reading and writing calm the mind. Order thoughts, reduce stress, build resilience, create clarity. Attention fragmentation worsens, stress levels rise, cognitive demands multiply. Those who can focus deeply will dominate. Those who can't will struggle. Reading trains deep focus. It's the gym for your attention. Every page is a rep. Every chapter a set, every book a cycle. You're building capacity, strengthening circuits, developing endurance. The muscle grows, the returns compound. 6 minutes reduces stress, 68%. Daily reading prevents cognitive decline. Lifetime reading extends lifespan. High achievers read 5 to 6 hours daily. They schedule think weeks. They mark up books. They discuss ideas. They apply knowledge. They transform information into action. Action into results. Results into success. Success into impact. Impact into legacy. All starting with a book, a page, a sentence, a word. The question isn't whether reading works. The evidence is overwhelming. The question is whether you'll do it, whether you'll choose the book over the feed, the page over the screen, the depth over the scroll, whether you'll block the time, honor the commitment, build the habit, protect the practice. High achievers already answered. They chose reading, they committed, they persisted, they won. The same choice sits in front of you. Same opportunity, same tools, same knowledge, different execution. What will you choose? The pattern that leads to stress and cognitive decline, or the pattern that reduces cortisol, protects cognition, enhances performance, and extends life? The data speaks. The results are clear. The decision is yours. April through September, both genders, various age groups. Strong positive correlation between cortisol and total leukocyte count. Weak negative correlation with lymphocyte percentage. Elevated cortisol reduces immune responsiveness. Gender differences observed. Females stronger, negative correlation between age and lymphocyte percentage. Males, significant correlations between cortisol and immune markers. The stress you carry today impacts your immune system tomorrow. Reading today reduces cortisol today. Lower cortisol today protects immunity tomorrow. Protected immunity tomorrow means better health next year, better health next decade, longer, healthier life overall. Language centers decode meaning. Prefrontal cortex interprets context. Hippocampus stores memories. Motor cortex simulates actions. Mirror neurons fire. Your brain constructs entire simulations. This builds neural connections, strengthens pathways, creates new ones, neuroplasticity in action. Every time you read, you're building brain capacity, like resistance training for neurons. 30 minutes builds resilience. 1 hour creates transformation. Buffett does 5 to 6 hours. Gates 50 books yearly. Musk 10 hours daily as child. These are maximized returns, cognitive domination, market edge, competitive advantage through volume depth consistency. Time investment 1 hour daily equals 365 hours yearly. Knowledge gained immeasurable. Stress reduced proven. Cognition protected documented. Career advanced correlated. Show me another investment with this profile. It doesn't exist. Reading does opposite. Trains depth. Demands sustained attention. Rewards patience. Builds capacity for complexity. As attention becomes scarcer, it becomes more valuable. Those who focus deeply will command premium. Reading builds the scarce skill. Constant overwhelm. Reading offers escape, relief, perspective, strategic retreat to maintain capacity. You can't solve problems when overwhelmed. Reading provides clear thinking, removes you from stressors, restores cognitive function, returns you with fresh perspective. Comprehension studies show physical reading produces better retention, deeper understanding, more lasting impact. The tactile experience matters. The visual processing matters. You can reread, pause and think, flip back. Physical books enable deeper learning. They mimic paper. No backlight, no blue light emission, but still no physical pages, no tactile feedback. The optimal solution depends on individual, on context, on goals. For stress reduction before bed, physical book wins. Avoid screens. For commute learning, audiobook works. For deep study, physical book or e-ink reader. Match medium to purpose, maximize benefits. Reading exposes you to different writing styles, thought patterns, problem-solving approaches. This builds mental flexibility, ability to see problems from multiple angles. Entrepreneurs credit reading for breakthrough insights. Scientists cite it for novel connections. Artists reference it for inspiration. The mechanism? Cross-pollination of ideas. You read about biology, apply principle to business. Read history, apply lesson to relationships. Read fiction, apply character insight to leadership. Reading across disciplines creates unexpected connections. These connections generate innovation. The chain of causation runs clear. What you do in the next hour determines your cortisol tomorrow. Your cortisol tomorrow affects your immunity next week. Your immunity next month shapes your health next year. Your health next year builds your lifespan next decade. One choice, read or don't. Everything flows from there.